the Fresno Focus Radio Hour. This is the No Focus Radio Hour. Comedy and insight from the greatest minds in Fresno. A Lightomine Media production. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. Thank you for listening, and thank you for telling a friend. The No Focus Radio Hour is available anywhere podcasts can be found, including YouTube and your home smart speakers. Remember to subscribe and leave a review. That really does help others discover our show. And while you're reviewing, keep in mind that 5 stars is the correct number of stars. If you enjoy our show, please share it with a friend, and if you hate it, share it with your enemies. Check out our site, nofocusradio.com. There you can get exclusive content, and you can also vote on Don's polls. Find us on social media. Our handle is at nofocusradio. You can find the rest of our shows at lightominemedia.com.
True. Now I know just what I got to do. Gonna hit this ground running, running just as fast as I can.
Where you going?
Hit the ground running, running to my favorite podcast in Fresno.
You guys let me hang in there for a little bit. Yeah. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. It's made for those who live in the Central Valley, for those who miss the Central Valley, those who long to live in the Central Valley, and for those who
are suffering from respiratory problems in the Central Valley.
Yeah.
As always, we have our beautiful cast of characters. However, sadly, Don is still out.
Yeah,
apparently,
what happened?
Well, you know, he had that terrible sausage tearing incident.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and he's still in a cast, which is apparently very uncomfortable.
Man, sausage cast.
Yeah, it's a sausage cast. It's not good.
Sausage casing cast.
So I heard that his physical therapy is pretty interesting, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty intense, huh?
Yeah,
a lot of massage.
A lot of massage. He's learning to do these interesting push-ups where you like lay down and you lift yourself up. As always, we have.
I won't get out of my mind now.
We have with us. You guys know him as the Doorman.
Hey, Fresno. Guess what? I am so glad I saw smoke in the air, and I'm like, thank God. I have missed it so much this summer. We are back to fire time.
That's
smoke, red sun in Fresno. Thank you so much.
Yeah, your lungs were missing it.
Yeah, I was breathing too clear there. Now I can barely breathe. Thank you, fires.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
We also have with us Mr. Marty Stupidasso.
Hey, the air is absolutely horrible. As soon as we're done here, I'm fleeing to Morro Bay.
Are you really?
Yes, I cannot take this air anymore, so my family has fled, and I am right behind them.
Oh, they left without you.
Yeah,
Wow.
I said, go save yourself. You know, I said I have to come in and do this podcast with these greatest minds in
Wonderful
Fresno.
people.
I do appreciate it. It's very important. You can't miss it.
And behind the board, we have the one, the only, Johnny Knobs.
Hey-o, hey everybody. Johnny Knobs here. You guys know why they call me that, don't you?
I thought I did, but I don't think I really do.
I'm going to keep it simple. It's because I control the volume. Today we got a big show, everybody. We have a lot of stuff. We're talking about some big things in California.
Uh-oh.
We have, you guys know water's pretty expensive these days.
I heard.
Yeah, it will, if you guys have a private well, you escape into the country, get yourself a well, right? Well, I got some news about that.
Uh-oh.
That's not going to save you money anymore. There's some big events in Clovis. There's the country western dance. We'll talk about that.
Ooh.
That's very exciting. There's a new business in town that we're going to talk about. I got some use this, not that.
Nice.
And I have a new cryptocurrency that we're going to chat about as well. Very important. It has an unfortunate name, but we're going to think about some new names for it.
I'm very curious.
Yes. But most importantly, we have with us a special guest. He is a local author. His name is Stephen Cochran, and he is actually calling in right now. Stephen, can you hear us?
Yeah, hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Great, man.
Really great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic on this beautiful Saturday morning.
That's right. So
Where are you? Are you somewhere else and not in Fresno, or?
Oh, no, I'm in Fresno. I am barricaded in my house right behind my AC unit and my air purifier.
So it is a beautiful place.
Nice.
really good. So Stephen Cochran, he is from, it's called now Coxon Media. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Fantastic. And this is your first book. It is called Alameda. It is a novel. It's called Alameda, a novel.
Yeah.
All right.
Alameda, which is Spanish for grove of trees.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nice,
I like that. It reminds me a lot about like the word Fresno, which means ash tree, right?
Yes.
I like that.
I think they should just change it to ash. Basically,
This makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
just ash. Forget the tree part.
So you have this book. I'm gonna give I'll let you give a rundown, but I'm gonna read, if you don't mind, the quick synopsis featured on your website, because I want to read it with some gusto here.
Okay. Yeah.
It says, in the future, shopping malls have been converted into corporate living facilities. Advancements in nanotechnology and video recognition have been integrated into every facet of residents' lives for convenience and control. In a world that streams 24/7, who would kill an innocent college student? Security Chief Omar Hernandez won't give up until he discovers Lucia's killer in Alameda.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nice.
Man, you made that sound really cool. Thank you.
You might want to hire him. I don't know. Are you out for hire, Johnny?
Cold read. So I apologize. I also have this issue. We talked about it previously where I'll read things and I say them wrong because I read them in my mind. Like I said Lucia, but it might be Lucia. I'm not sure.
Alameda.
Or Alameda.
It is Lucia. Yeah, it is Lucia.
Okay, well that's great. And Alameda, I think
Alameda.
I pronounced wrong. What did I say?
Alameda.
See, I pronounced that wrong.
Alameda County.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I'm going to stop talking.
Okay.
Stephen, tell us a little bit about your first novel, and we'll dig in from there.
Release date is coming up. It's going to be July 28th.
Ooh.
And it's speculative fiction about a possible future, the timeline that we're currently living in with the choices we're making today, slowly but surely affect how our reality will be in the future and our lack of civil liberties. And so that's the backdrop to what is just quintessentially a thriller mystery.
So you talk a little bit about like a lack of civil liberties and where we're going here. Is that I'm assuming this is based on things you've been seeing in life, and kind of you have taken those ideas and you've forecasted a little bit into the future. How far in the future do you see this?
Well, I kept it kind of loose.
Okay.
I kept it kind of loose intentionally. I didn't want to give it any hard timelines, because whenever you do a story, you give a hard timeline in the future. Everyone's like, "Well, he got this right, but then he got this wrong." You know,
right?
Yeah. But you do talk a lot about the current events. You cover the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And
the first coronavirus, actually, in the book, I imply that there's actually been multiple coronaviruses. And I actually wrote that before like the variants came out.
Right.
Nice.
So that was kind of interesting when they started saying, "Well, there's this Delta variant." I was like, "Well, what's a variant?" Well, crap. But how the story kind of came to be was shelter in place, and we started climbing the walls, and my wife and I decided to go take a car ride. Windows up, driving around town. We saw all these empty storefronts and a tremendous amount of people walking the streets, and we're like, well, what are we going to do with the malls of America? And true to form, after I said that out loud, all of a sudden my feed started being these news stories of all these malls across the nation going empty and rotting. And I was like, well, what if that was the solution for our homeless issue, right? And then from there, things just kind of fell into place. And what I observed during COVID and the lockdown definitely plays a part in how I developed the story. I was seeing things like, perfect example, someone would post something on Twitter and within 24 hours it disappeared. And yes, the First Amendment is not specific towards businesses, it's specific towards the government. I always thought that was kind of that's interesting, right? Like all of a sudden, and people's reactions and how people were responding to what was going on. For a large part, you hear people who are upset about things, but most people just live their lives. And I was listening to a song from the 50s, and it goes something like 15 tons, what do I get? Another day older and cheaper in debt.
Yeah, deeper in debt, yeah.
And in the chorus, I sold my soul to the company store. And so all that just kind of came together, and Alameda came out the other side.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of funny you brought that up because it's kind of like we're back to that, right? The company store. Right. It's just so funny. The coal mines. I mean, that song was back about the coal mines. Back in the day when people would basically the coal mines owned everything. The companies did, and so you'd go and work all day, and then you'd go to the store to buy food, and you'd still be in debt. When you came out, and that's still kind of the similar idea in this whole book. It's like you mentioned, everybody's like in debt for food and just for basic essentials.
Basically, they own nothing. Nobody owns anything. They rent it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah, clothes and stuff. That was very interesting. I'm like, how do you rent clothes?
That is the thing. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we've talked about it a bit on the show too, right? There's the video from the Great Reset where it says you will own nothing right? By 2030. They're that's what they want. So you've taken a lot of these. It's crazy. It's kind of like I think a lot of science fiction or a lot of future things like that is so many things do come true, right? And a lot of times people go, well, how did they? Like when I remember reading Fahrenheit 451, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and it's like, my gosh, how did this guy nail so many things? But it was like, well, he saw the writing on the wall, right? It wasn't all imaginative. He was the kind of person who could connect dots and go, I see where this is going.
Well, you brought up something really interesting. It's kind of like there seems to be, in around times too, there's like certain artists that seem to bring things out, and there seems to be like a collective conscience that kind of comes through all these different artists in different ways, but it all kind of says the similar thing. So I'm kind of wondering if we're kind of in that time right now.
Stephen nailed a lot of things in his book Alameda, and the nice thing is I don't know if it's nice, but in Fresno,
I don't know
if you want to go outside in Fresno, you have to wear a sun jacket. You have to wear a respirator because you can't breathe the air. The air is bad and also the temperature is like 120.
Yeah, I was saying, is it about 120? Is that the top, or is it actually?
Was that a cool day?
Yeah, was that?
Yeah, exactly. That's average for Alameda. I make a reference that nobody wants to live within 20 feet of the windows inside the mall.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they don't want to cook and, they don't want to get sun bleached. And, it was this conversation me and my wife have all the time. We're in a drought. Well, how many droughts do you have to go through before that's just your weather?
Yeah.
My entire life in Fresno has been 5 years drought, 1 year rain since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder, well, are we in a drought, or is this is just how it's going to be? And if this is how it's going to be, where's it going to go? And anyone who lives in Fresno knows you always remember the hot days and you wish for the cold days you never get.
Right.
Yeah, true. That's a great line. Yeah.
One thing I really liked about your book is a lot of science fiction writers will make it take place in space and spaceships. Instead, you made the mall a spaceship to where people live in the mall, they work in the mall, they don't really leave the mall because they have to wear special equipment. So it's kind of like the mall is a spaceship and people live in their little pods and work in there.
Yeah, I really
wanted a city within
a microcosm. Yeah. All in one. I didn't want people leaving the bubble, right?
Yeah,
and it kind of played, pretty much where I was in my mindset, where I didn't leave my house. I have my victory garden in the backyard, and we have a very close friend whose son does Future Farmers of America. So we were having meat delivered, and so it was like I was in the bubble, and of course that kind of mentality moved into my writing at the time.
Now, I don't think I'm giving anything away, right? I can tell what mall you were talking about, right?
No, we are definitely talking about
Manchester Mall. Yeah.
It was cool when I kind of put that together and I saw Gottschalk's Will, is it? And then you were talking about going to the theater to visit one of the characters, Usher. And you were talking about the murals of black and white. And I used to work in that mall at one of the schools there. And I was going, oh my God, it's Manchester. That's so cool.
I was going to say, and the reason I brought that up is because, I think I haven't been to Manchester in years, but I think it's pretty much the way you describe it now, right? It's pretty empty. I mean, it could be just throw some pods up. It's ready to go, I think.
Something I think we skipped ahead because we know the book, but our listeners might not know. This book, let's bring it back home.
Good point.
Takes place in Fresno.
Yeah, in a dystopian future in Fresno. Yeah.
Right, which is, I think, something that the listeners might be going, wait, does this take place in Fresno? Yes. It very clearly does.
But it's easily accessible by people who do not live in Fresno.
Right. It's like reading a book that takes place in Los Angeles. Like everybody knows it. But and it's cool because you specifically mention places in Fresno. You talk about Blackstone Avenue, and you give a little bit of the past about it. How it was like the tire shops. And, people used to own tires is the kind of the little thing there. You talk about Gottschalk's. Fresno State plays a big part in the book. So it very much revolves in our town, which I think is very cool for local people. It's one of those books that there's not a lot of science fiction books or books in general that take place in Fresno and mention the places So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I tend in my writing, this is my first book out, but I have other stuff that I've, of course, short stories and future projects that I'm working on. And I tend to write about the Central Valley in Fresno almost exclusively. Mm-hmm. And I've lived here my whole life. I did some traveling, but this is home. I raised my kids here because this is home. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to just describe when you have such a close emotional investment in your hometown.
It's really vivid,
Yeah, because you describe what it's like to walk around in the summer or be around Fresno in the summer extremely well. Like how you mentioned no one wants to be in the front of the mall, which is true. It's just too hot. So you described that perfectly. I don't want to get into too many parts of it.
It's hard because you don't want to completely give the book away. But I will say, man, you got me because I read the book and then I'm driving down Blackstone and I swear I'm picturing your dystopian Blackstone, and matching it to the modern day. So it's like I'm just imagining like Omar, because the main character is Omar Hernandez, and I'm picturing him going down Blackstone. I'm like, oh my gosh, what would that be like, in this dystopian future?
Yeah, and I had to go into Manchester the other day for work and stuff.
Did you?
I was in there and I was walking around. Okay, over here is where all the rich people live, and this is probably where one of the gardens
Lady
is.
Dash.
Yeah,
Lady Dash. Yeah.
So, what was kind of cool is after lockdown, I got a camera and I went to the mall and security stopped me. What are you doing? I was like, I want to take pictures. They're like, hey, you might want to talk to the manager. And I talked to one of the managers for the mall, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I just want to take pictures of some of the empty spaces. And they're like, well, what for? I'm writing a book. What's this book about? The future.
About how much your mall sucks. I'm not.
Right. But they were really gracious. They were really nice. They gave me full access to every place that was not under construction. I was allowed to go around and snap pictures and everything. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll select some of the pictures that I took that really inspired the writing. And with your permission, I can upload them on Discord for your Discord fans.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man.
Killer.
Yeah.
Can
you take some pictures? Can you put a little caption on there too? Like, hey, this is what, and tell exactly what you were thinking and stuff and tie it to the book. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. There were some great shots that really perpetuated the story. There's a part in the book where Omar's just walking down the mall, and that was heavily influenced by the pictures that I took and how he was in that space. Yeah.
Well, and in the book, you keep mentioning the red brick, and I remember that so vividly. Like I said, I haven't been in the mall in years, but I remember that brick, Oh,
yeah. No, it's what's interesting is I mentioned one of the areas is called Carousel Way, and it's no longer there. But I remember growing up, like they had a giant carousel.
Yeah, is that gone? See, I haven't been there since.
Yeah, it's been gone for a while. I think
it's been gone for a while. Yeah, as a kid, you'd get to ride. I'm like 5 or 6 families there doing something, but I got to go on the carousel, and I vividly remember it's that and the tank outside of Chaffee Zoo were like kind of iconic little kid locations in Fresno.
Yeah, the tank was great when it was really hot in the summer and you jumped on the tank and burned your hands. That was good.
I don't know if I remember the tank outside of the zoo.
Outside a little veterans, like a log cabin thing.
No,
well, you know what happened to the tank, right?
What?
Ray Appleton picked it up, and he actually refurbished and took care of it because it was just sitting there, kind of. And I remember when it happened, my brother was like, he can't do that. That's our take. And I was like, yeah, that's our, what's he? But the idea that it still lives out there, that it's being taken care of actually is kind of a cool thing.
Oh, wow. We have to talk to Ray about that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We had him on the show. We should have, I wish we would have known that. Yeah.
What I like most about your book is it's really well written. I sat through and read the whole thing in one sitting, and that's really rare for me.
Thank you.
But I enjoyed the way it was written.
Yeah, I mean, very vivid.
Yeah,
you really get a sense. I mean, the way you write, you really get a sense of what's going on. It's like it's just amazing. The imagination just kicks in.
Yeah, and you have
the writing.
You have a lot of really memorable characters in there. One of my favorite character was Usher, who ran the movie theater.
Oh yeah. I pictured that guy. Yeah. That guy's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go right ahead.
No, I was going to say, now I've noticed, now I'm friends with you on Instagram. So it's like I see you posting these things every time. You're like up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Here we go. How long did it take you to write this book, and how easy is it for you to write this stuff? Is it just kind of flow out at that time, or do you have to sit in there for hours and then you're just banging away and.
Yeah, well,
what's the process?
I've been doing a lot of reels lately to kind of promote the book, and I kind of talk about my process and what works for me. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can check out those reels. But for the most part, I get up. I don't sleep a lot. I wake up like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and the mind monkeys just go. Okay. Now my usual time is 5 o'clock, and I have an alarm set for 5 o'clock, and so I will write 2 to 6 hours in the morning.
Wow.
And part of the process is the fact that early in the morning, there are no distractions. My brain's firing at full speed. And once I decided what story I was going to tell, and the big one, and I'm going to be talking about this in an upcoming reel, is once I knew who Omar was, like I knew him. I came about Omar kind of haphazardly. I started with with Lucia, and I wanted to make this bright character to contrast this dark reality. And then I kind of stumbled across Omar, and as I developed him, I knew him. And all I could think about was him. And once you know your character, really know your character, it does just kind of flow. Because, Stephen King says, put a person in a situation and then try to get them out. And by knowing who the character is, you're honest with their reactions to their reality. And then everything else just kind of falls into place. So once that happened for me, I think it actually only took me 3 months to write.
Really?
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I started it, I want to say 9 months ago. And it was just an idea, and I kind of did a little backstory, and I was taking some things in a different direction. I was working on other projects. I've got a young adult novel coming out later this year, maybe the beginning of next year, called Morticians, which takes place in the Central Valley and is the zombie apocalypse.
Nice.
Is that about our guy
it's about
Stu
me
here?
when I was
He's a mortician.
Yeah, if you need some insight, Marty here used to work on dead bodies. So
so once I made a decision on which way the story was going to go, it just popped. And there it goes. And that typically happens for me when I'm writing, is once I make a decision on where it needs to go, I'm in a damn good hurry to get there.
Yeah. Now, have you always been, I know you mentioned in your Instagram, you're talking about, yes, you do, you have to read. That's really the thing, right? Because you learn by reading. And I did see that post. As far as your writing now, this is your first book, but have you been always writing like the whole time, just here and there and just never really put anything together? Or how long have you been doing this, I guess?
So Morticians, I started 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I finished it 12 years ago and I shelved it because I didn't have an ending that I liked, and it's almost 80,000 words. And in fact, I read it to my wife, and she was like, "Oh, this is great. This is what you should be doing." I started writing in high school, and the grammar people are.
Grammar.
You don't have half. There's always negative people who say, "No, you shouldn't do this. You should, do something a little bit more realistic, and you shouldn't be a writer, and you're not very good at it." But I've always told stories, and so I've got notebooks from like 20 years ago that are just full of non sequiturs and short stories that never went anywhere. So in that aspect, I've been practicing for 20 years.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I finally have the cheerleader support and the encouragement to actually pursue it as a passion.
Wow.
That's awesome. So speaking of which, you wrote the book. Where do you publish it? Where do people get it? Where can somebody buy your book?
So pre-sales for Kindle are already up on Amazon. It's going to go live on Amazon.
Okay.
We're going to keep it I know there's other options like Google Books and iTunes and everything like that. But for right now, we're just doing a Kindle Amazon.
Okay.
And I am currently in the process of doing the Audible book as well. So
awesome.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
July 28th for sure. You can get the ebook and a physical copy through Amazon, and hopefully the same day, but maybe shortly thereafter. If you want to listen to it on Audible, you'll be able to download it and listen to it there.
Great. And are you self-narrating the book?
I actually, I think you guys know my friend ATF, Abel T. Fletcher.
Yeah.
He did you guys a show back in the day. We worked together on his book, Casper.
Yeah.
And he's actually going to be narrating it.
How awesome is that? Okay.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
All right. So another kind of local author will be doing it. That's very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. With Alameda, is there going to be a sequel? Because I enjoyed this world so much, and I liked the whole entire concept and the idea and the way it was going. Is there going to be a sequel?
So I'm not going to say no, but as of right now, there are no plans for a sequel. And here's the reason why. Alameda is 100% written from Omar's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To write a sequel, I'd have to branch out and have it from different character perspectives, and that's a different style of story.
Right.
So what you like in Alameda may not be there in a sequel because of the formatting from a single point of view moving to multiple points of view in the storytelling.
Okay.
We have a lot of narration and internal dialogue with Omar, and he has a very unique personality and a very unique way of looking at the world.
Right.
So to do a sequel, I feel like would take from Omar. So I've already been asked that. My wife's like, "You should do a sequel. This is a really same response." She's like, "This is a really great world you've built here."
Yeah.
Even just like something else in that world, but not having to do with that problem.
I'll just interject this. I think a sequel is needed, in my opinion, because we didn't get to River Park. We did see Fashion Fair. I'm not going to give anything away, but we did see Fashion Fair. We saw Manchester, but not River Park. And we need to get there now and hear that story too, included in all of them.
Right. There was a time where there was another chapter. It was written from Lady Desh's point of view.
Ooh.
And it didn't fit with the flow of the book. So I cut it.
So I'm going to go down a slight tangent really quick, just because we're talking about books from different points of view. Steven, have you ever read Ender's Game?
See here.
They made a movie out of it.
You know what? No, I didn't read Scott Card's book. I saw the movie several times. It's actually one of my kids' favorite films.
All right. Well, read the book. It's different than the movie and amazing. It's in my top 3 favorite books of all time. It's Ender's Game. But then read Ender's Shadow, which was written like 20 years later from another character's point of view, but it's the exact same story. but it changes it completely because you're in Ender's Game. You have this guy who's kind of like a jerk and all these different things. But when you read it from the other character's point of view, it just completely changes everything. It was the coolest thing I've read. Where I was like, oh my gosh, this is
interesting.
So I'm not saying you have to do a book like this. I'm just thinking, just because you've already done this book where you wrote from Desh's point of view, give it a shot because it's really fun to have read two novels of
2 points of view.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, because the world in Alameda is so amazing and it's so well done that I just want to explore more and I want to go into that world again. So that's why I was asking about a sequel.
Well, I really appreciate that. There is I call it the promenade in the book, but I'm referring to Fashion Fair Mall.
Yeah,
there would be interesting to have another character from that mall because it's the same. It's the same system of governance, but they're so contrastly different in how they're being run. And I thought that maybe that might be kind of fun to explore.
Well, yeah, and that world you built, I mean, just the world you built, and I know it's Omar's perspective, but the world you built, I mean, I think there's so much more that can be told there, too. Just the same with Stu here. I'm like, man, that I want to hear more about this place,
Because I was telling my daughter about how, people have nanites in their blood to keep them healthy.
Yeah.
And how for them to get drunk, they have to vape to kind of suppress the
change
nanites.
The code. They change the code.
That's when they're getting high, is when they change the code. They vape to change the code, but they'll vape to get drunk. And she goes, "Oh my God, that is so amazing!"
That was a great perspective. I love it. Yeah.
All right, time is running short. So, Stephen, let's do this really quick. So we know you can get it. You said July 28th is the release date.
That's correct.
July 28th. People should they just go on to Amazon, search for. What's the best way to search for it or find it?
So what I'm finding, because I could do the pre-sale right now, but I can't do the actual book pre-sale. The way Amazon's set up, you can only do the day of.
Gotcha.
What I'm finding out, if you are looking for this book, Alameda, a novel, Stephen J. Cochran.
Okay.
Is the best way to bring it up on Amazon, because Alameda, being a county, has a lot of historical novels about it. There's a lot of Alameda as a word is a key word in a lot of novel titles. So if you type in Alameda, a novel, Stephen J. Cochran, you should go right to my book.
All right. What I'll do is I'll put a direct link in our show notes. I'll do the search for you, listeners. So all you have to do is click the link and you'll get there.
Awesome. You said they could pre-order the Kindle right now, but not the book. But the book is coming, and they can order it at the 28th, right? Now, did you want to give out Instagram or anything like that? Any other ways people can follow you and check you out?
You know what? I would love to give them my Instagram tag. If they want to follow me on Instagram, they can always look me up on Facebook. I am on, if you are looking for me on Facebook, it's Stephen J. Cochran, and Cochran's spelled quite uniquely. It's spelled Cochron, which is unique to my family.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, Coxon Media is the handle, and I actually don't know how to share that link. Instagram has been a very fun learning curve for me.
Yeah.
So Max, if you could,
I will. It'll be in the show notes.
Yes, thank you very much.
It'll be in the show notes.
We're still trying to figure it all out, man. It's like, what the heck are we doing here?
Yeah, so we'll have the Facebook, the Instagram, and a direct link to the book pre-sale in the show notes. So check that out. Any last things you want to tell the audience, or?
I will say this: that I am on your guys' Discord, and for the week leading up to and after, I will pay special attention to No Focus Discord. And if anybody has any questions for me, I will answer them direct message on Discord.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, man. We're going to make sure everybody knows that. I'm going to say, put this in my notes. Steven is on our Discord. Talk to him. There we go. Very cool. That's awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Discord. I play D&D on it. It's really a great service. And the fact that you guys are on it was really exciting for me because I like hanging out there and talking to people.
You know what's cool? I'm glad you joined because a lot of our listeners, they'll respond on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. The Discord was, I love Discord as well, so I'm trying to push people to it so I don't have to check Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp. I just want one place.
It gets too much.
So we'll see. Hopefully I can start getting more people over there.
And also, do yourself a favor and get the book because it's really amazing. It's well written. It's not, it's not like one of these big gigantic novels. It's like 152 pages roughly, but it's exciting and it's really interesting.
It keeps you engrossed. And like you were saying,
the concepts that he comes up with are just spectacular, and you go, oh my God, how did he come up with this?
Yeah, and it is. It's like you sit down, you don't want to put it down. I mean, I was like, okay, I'm tired. I got to go to bed, get some sleep.
Well,
we actually call it a sunburn book in the house. This book will give you a sunburn if you read it outside.
That's great. I love it.
Well, that's the title of the show.
Sunburn
book. Nailed it.
The Sunburn book.
A Sunburn book. Perfect. All right, everybody, thank you again, Stephen, for coming on.
Thanks, Stephen, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Stay on. We're going to talk to you in the break here. But listeners, we'll be back after a short word from a sponsor.
Get the book.
At the Mortuary of the Talking Spirits, we make funerals easier by asking the deceased to do the planning for you. All of our funeral counselors are certified spiritualists, and they're ready to help you make contact with the other side. What can be a better tribute to someone's life than letting them plan their final farewell? Just because someone passed away doesn't mean the burden of planning a funeral should fall on you. At the Mortuary of the Talking Spirits, we're making funerals easier for the living.
Thank you once again to our sponsor, the Mortuary of the Talking Spirits.
Yes.
Appreciate all of your sponsorships.
I tried to work for them before, but I couldn't get the Ouija board to say anything, so they didn't hire me.
Is that discrimination?
I don't know, but I'm not spiritually connected, I guess.
I tried a Ouija board once that said, get lost. So,
How rude.
Yeah. So I got lost.
So this is a fun one, guys. So our wonderful governor and people in charge, they are trying to help.
You mean our future president?
Future president.
Oh my gosh.
They are trying to help exploited workers. And here's the thing: you always want to help exploited workers. You don't want people to be exploited. So Gavin Newsom, he approved this piece of legislature back in 2019 called AB 5. And what that did was it was supposed to help all of these independent contractors for like Uber and things like that. Because they're like, well, they're not employees. They're not getting, all the stuff that an employee gets. But here's the problem, which is now hitting a huge group of people. It is truckers.
Yeah.
Truckers are all independent. Most truckers are independent workers.
Independent contractors, yeah.
Yeah, independent contractors. So what's happening now is because they are classified as independent contractors, now their jobs are being threatened under the law because what happens is companies now, if they hire somebody more than a couple times, they're forced to hire them underneath this law.
As an employee?
As an employee. So what's happening is people aren't getting work.
Yeah.
So there are roughly 70,000 owner-operated truck drivers in California, and they are essentially losing all their work because companies can't hire them anymore.
So they've got a truck that they probably have to pay for, their own truck. That they're doing, and of course all their gas, whatever else that diesel, whatever else they have to put into upkeep and all that, and licenses they have to pay for, and they can't go get work now. They have to go become an employee.
Yes, of a single company. If you become a single employee of a single company, then you can't get all the other work, right?
Well, and how's that going to work with these trucking companies? Because they're not going to, if they can't just hire a person, they would have to hire him by the truck,
right?
And everything else, because otherwise, what's the truck? I mean, if these guys own their own trucks, how does that work?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's going to kill the distribution of things, and our shelves are already bare enough as it is.
Yes. So what's happening right now is there are thousands of truckers who are protesting and doing blockades at the port of Oakland. So right now, there are thousands of truckers carrying these signs that say the 70,000 plus owner-operators choose freedom over fear, no on AB 5. So once again, this law that was supposed to protect workers backfired because...
don't they think this stuff through? It's like... it's
they do.
Where's the hammer, guys?
I think it's purposely shutting industries down is what it's doing.
So it's a master plan.
Yes.
Well, listen, I mean, how many times when I was younger, how many times, when you say, oh, those idiots here and those idiots in Washington, those idiots at the state capitol. Well, how many idiots do we have? I mean, I understand they may not be the brightest bulbs, but at the same time, this has to be they just continually do this. This has to be some kind of purposeful.
Yeah. And they did two things. So one was California's AB 5, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, though, Democratic lawmakers passed the, quote, Protecting the Right to Organize PRO Act. But what that did was they passed that and they got people on board. Right? This protects your right to organize.
Is this just California or is this in
that was a federal law.
Okay.
But what that actually did was it narrowed the definition of what an independent contractor was at the federal level. And they did that under the guise of granting them more protections. So I don't know if you remember those ads. It was like the PRO Act was a big deal. It was going to help all of these workers and give them the right to organize, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But what it did was it narrowed their act. So it protects and empowers workers, quote, to exercise our freedom to organize a bargain, is what the president was what they were talking about. President Biden supported it. President Biden said, I strongly encourage the House to pass the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, which would dramatically enhance the power of workers to organize and collectively bargain for better wages. However, many groups opposed the measure. Chamber of Commerce published in 2019 article called The Dangerous Ideas Behind the PRO Act. That was the U.S. Chamber of Commerce said the dangerous ideas. It says It said labor unions that are promoting the bill, it would radically rewrite labor laws in the United States. The proposal, called the PRO Act, is a litany of almost every failed idea from the past 30 years of labor policy.
See?
The PRO Act would undermine workers' rights, drag employers into unrelated labor disputes, disrupt the economy, and force individual Americans to pay union dues regardless of their wishes.
The union, so we got the mafia into it.
Yes.
And which supports the Democratic Party, which then you would have to vote Democratic. Or else you may not be in the union.
It essentially killed the gig economy, which, by the way, 36% of the U.S. workforce work in the, quote, gig economy. Yeah. 36% of U.S. workers work on single contract
Let me remind you, let me throw another little thing in here. Let me remind you with the gig economy. Now, before, Biden also changed the tax code, right? His guys changed the tax code where before you could work and make under $10,000 and you didn't have to report it, right?
Right.
And then now, was it 2021 it kicked in, where if you made over $600, you had to report it.
Yep.
So that also is destroying these guys. And that's why, I understand going back to the Uber and the Lyft and all those guys that are saying, well, they're getting shortchanged. Well, okay, but at least they didn't have to pay taxes on that money from these companies. But now they even have to pay taxes if it's over $600, if you make over $600.
And additionally, I don't know if you saw what they ended up doing with that was they also passed something that said banks used to not have to report deposits unless they were $10,000 or more.
Okay.
So if you did a deposit of $10,000, a bank would report it to the federal government. What they then changed was people fought it. They said, okay, fine. We're not going to do that. That's bad. They changed it to banks need to report all your earnings if you make more than $10,000 in transactions per year.
Oh, my God.
Which is even worse, which means banks are now reporting every single so whether if you got cash from somebody, whatever it is, like you whatever, on a part-time job, you sell video games, whatever the heck you do, right? Bookmarks, you're a bookmark sales guy on your in spare time. Now, if you make more than $10,000 in a year, all of that stuff is being sent to the federal government.
But that's only if it's a check from. I mean, how would they know that it's if that all earnings? Any positive deposits?
Yep.
Your grandma says, Merry Christmas, and she gives you $500 check. That means that's your earnings.
I want a grandma like that.
I know, me too. That means that you'll get
Yes.
So it's taxable. So they're just going to tax you on your grandma's gift.
Yes. Quote.
Wow.
This is from CBS News. The U.S. Treasury amends a proposal to track nearly all bank accounts.
So I'm not putting anything in the bank at all.
After initially proposing to track bank accounts with more than $600 of inflows and outflows, the Treasury on Tuesday offered a new threshold. More than $10,000 in transfers within a single year flags accounts for reporting to the IRS. $10,000 within a year.
So if I'm on Amazon buying stuff and it's coming out of my bank, once I get up to 10,000,
well, I was gonna say with this inflation, that's like a tank of gas now.
yeah.
This would report all 10,000, including gross inflows and outflows, with a breakdown for physical cash, transactions with foreign accounts, and transfers to and from other accounts.
That's just
Of the same owner, yeah.
Same owner. So it means everybody essentially now
this is
gets reported to the federal government.
You tell
IRS.
me that it's just these knuckleheads up there, but there is a purpose for this. This is obviously setting a control grid.
Yep.
I mean, it's very simple. Going back to the truckers, the other thing I read in that story, that first story you had about Gavin helping truckers, is that they were saying that yes, these truckers now are going out there to protest. Right? Mm-hmm. And to protest, right, is to basically you want to create some kind of disorder so that people have to pay attention to what's going on. Well, the Port Authority is saying, well, we don't really want things disrupted, so we're going to give you this little box in the corner to go protest
the free speech protest area.
So you have to go way off in the corner where nobody can see you, free speech protest area. Yeah. And what did we have? Did we have the summer of what? BLM when they were like shutting down cities, and that was okay.
Right in the streets.
But you got truckers that want to work, that can't get supplies to where they need so that we can have supplies.
But the government's protecting them so much.
And they have to go off in a little corner.
Yeah, and protest
where nobody's going to see them, and then they'll just go away, and they'll lose their truck, and everybody will forget about it. Yeah, this is great. This is wonderful.
Go work for
Isn't
Walmart.
that insane? Like, it's
it is insane.
Especially in a time when we don't have enough. California, I don't know if you remember, we're like 100,000 truckers short right now in California, in the U.S., and now we're adding an additional 70,000.
Well, this makes as much sense as saying if you don't want to get the vaccine, you're going to lose your job. And they were telling policemen and doctors and nurses and now military staff, oh, yeah, you guys don't want it, then you're out of here. And then they say, well, we got all these shortages. Oh, come on.
It's just driving me nuts. Golly. So California's awesome.
Wait, are we still talking about the book? Are we still talking about Alameda right now? This sounds like this is dystopian future that we're just talking about.
Here's another fun one.
Fault. He's created this with his prophecy.
Steven created this with his mind.
Just some other little local California news
world
here.
We just live in it.
Yeah.
California now, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. So what's happening? So, our water bills get more and more expensive every year. Of course. Right? Yeah. So then you think, okay, I'm going to go get some land out in the country and get myself a well.
I'm moving in the country. I'm going to be independent of that water system.
Right?
Give me a well.
Yeah. So
pump my own water. Dang it.
Water.
California Globe reported that a letter signed by Natalie Stork, who is the chief groundwater management.
Another unelected bureaucrat.
This is the first step. This is a letter which is advising the San Diego area residents that if they have their own private well, every year, they need to report the volume of well water they used and pay a fee per acre of groundwater extracted starting February 2023.
We knew this was coming.
This is from a letterhead, has the California Water Boards, and was set under the authority of guess who?
Gavin Newsom.
Your future president, America.
And the Secretary for Environmental Protection.
They need this money, though, because socialism will not pay for itself.
No.
And if you end up using more than what you say you're going to use, you'll pay an additional annual fee of $300 for each well. Plus, you must meter add now a meter to your water well and send in your monthly usage reports and pay fees for water that is pumped. So now you have to add a meter to your own private well.
How do you know how much water you use if you don't already have a meter? That makes no sense.
That's why they're making you get a meter, because if you don't, you get fined, right?
So you're just going to get fined anyway and get a meter.
You just make up an arbitrary number and send it in.
Well, no, but
then if you use more, you get fined, right?
This is the first step. They always do this thing in little tiny increments. Right. It's like the frog boiling. They turn up the heat little by little.
And here's the issue with this. The way that, why do we pay for water, right? If you think about it, it's a tax. that it's a water tax because and in theory it makes sense. The city in California is building the infrastructure, right? They have the water system. They're putting in the pipes. They're doing all the underground work. So in theory, yes, sure, we can pay a little bit for our water to ensure that they keep that up to date. But if you have your own well, the city's not doing that. No, you're spending the $40,000 to get a well.
And when since COVID and all pre-COVID, even these wells were astronomical. I mean, they were costing almost $100,000 to put in a well, to have it dug, and to have to have your own infrastructure put in, have your own well put in on your property. That's what they would charge.
And here's more.
And because of the drought, a lot of people are having to dig their wells deeper at their own expense.
That's a huge issue. I have a good friend of mine.
It costs a fortune.
A good friend of mine who lives out here off of like Shaw and Bethel area. He they'd have to, once again, because we got rid of all of our dams and we're not saving water, right? There's no water out there in Clovis. So they're all digging their wells. He's on like a 12-month wait list. It's going to cost him $25,000 to dig his well deeper.
Just to go deeper. That's just to go deeper, not to put in a new well.
In addition to pumping volumes, reports must include the location of your well and the place and purpose of the use of your groundwater. You are required to report. The report must include pumping volumes by month. So there you go.
Well, this is just the nose under the tent, the camel's nose. I mean, they do this thing, like I say, I go back to it. It's in increments, and then it's this. And then next thing you know, it's like they're going to come out, it's an emergency, drought emergency. We need to put meters on everybody's well. And then they do that. And then it's, we got to raise the prices because people are abusing it. You people are abusers.
Well, you nailed it, because here's an exact quote from the AFP.
Okay.
We're not looking really for their money. That doesn't get us more water. We're trying to get behavioral change.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we can act like them?
Exactly.
So let's get out a hammer and start hitting ourselves in the head so we act like them.
Yeah. That's what all this stuff is. It's control and behavior. I mean, listen, if we really had an emergency in this state, and I do think that groundwater is very precious, all water in this state is very precious, you wouldn't be ripping down dams. In Fresno and Clovis, you drive around here in the outskirts, and they're building homes like it's going out of style.
Right.
If I always go back to that. If we're in a drought, why are they putting up thousands and thousands and thousands of homes and apartments, which you have even more compacted people living in a space using water?
Well, why wouldn't you just be doing the easiest thing ever, which is building dams?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Just put up some dams. Like, we have dams. How about you just stop ripping down the dams in California? That's all I'm asking for. Stop ripping them down.
They never want to do, and even that, don't rip them down. They never want to do the simple or right thing. There's always other reasons connected to this. I mean, it always, like I said, and unfortunately, it's usually never good for us, for the people, for the plebs,
that's why they want
the peasants.
Make hydroelectric power a clean energy or renewable energy.
Oh,
they don't label it as that.
No,
because that way they could tear down the dams, because all that delta, needs to have that water flow into it.
That's true. The delta needs that water. It needs that water.
For the fish.
Yeah. So I don't know, as far as that goes, I mean, they're going to hit, they've got everybody locked up in the cities with the meters. And we've heard I know people too that have had, with the meter problems, they've been 1 minute over midnight with their waters, and they get these letters from the city. We don't even know if these meters work correctly, if they're even gauging what you're using correctly. We don't even know that, but it doesn't matter. The city's going to fine you. Now they're found a way to get in. It's also going out to the ranchers, and we talked before, they're going to put on ditches, which there's hardly any ditch water anymore, but they're going to put meters on the intakes for farms on these ditches, and they're going to charge them per gallon to water their acreage. Essentially, they're going to turn this place into a non-agricultural area.
Be a desert.
100%. 100%.
And probably, and I don't know, maybe they expect one big, great America extending down, to Central and South America, where it's like they're growing the food down there and they transfer to. I don't know what their main goal is. This is crazy,
isn't it? It's just it's very weird. Because the end goal doesn't make any sense, right?
No, it doesn't. And I mean, listen, I'm the first. I'll jump on that train. I mean, hey, I compost stuff. I do it myself on my own property. I would be great, whatever rainwater we get, it'd be great to collect that. It'd be great to have programs where people are actually doing positive things. And I would love to conserve and do the right thing here. But the problem is that you try to yourself as a person do the right thing, and they keep stepping the boot right on your neck.
Oh yeah.
And it's all about money and control is what it comes down to. They force you to pay more, and you get in line.
Because see, if you have a compost thing, you probably have worms in your compost, and you're probably not paying their benefits. You're probably not paying the minimum.
That's true.
wage.
Are my worms employees?
Not going to work for free. They're considered employees.
No, no. You got it wrong. My worms are independent contractors right now. So there's a new bill that Gavin Newsom is trying to pass where the worms have to be employees. I have to hire them.
See, so now you got all that.
Yeah, I'm going to be
pay, unemployment and all that other stuff for the worms, man.
Okay. Oh man.
Oh, free lunch.
So some cool new things. Cool new things in Fresno. Here's a new something to do in Fresno. Here we go.
Let's talk about.
Hi, this is Max with some really cool things to do in Fresno.
Hey. All right, Max, what are we doing?
Today we're going to a new business called Selfie Land.
What?
Is that in Fresno?
Fresno's River Park is now home to Fresno's first selfie studio.
Yay.
This is a real business. I have 20 backdrops and props you can pose with.
Huh?
For that perfect picture.
Quote, I wanted to have a place where content creators could come, business owners could come and have a place to film content, have a place to feel comfortable, let loose with so many different rooms.
Oh my God.
So here it is. What you do is you show up to Selfie Land. It's literally a business where you take selfie pictures.
With backdrops that say, look so cool.
Yeah. It's $25 a person.
Okay.
You go in and you get 1 hour.
1 hour.
To go take pictures at Selfie Land.
Or you can go to Storybook Land at the mall, at the Roding Park, and take all these selfies you want and just pay admission, which isn't that much.
Well, so essentially there's all these backdrops, right? So it's going to be like a huge donut, or it's like, whatever, backdrops they put up. And you can go in there, and I guess if you're a content creator, I love how they put content creator.
Yeah, and you can go on their Instagram page. There's a link in the show notes. There's girls sitting on like a bench with clouds behind them. There's like a girl with
it's a swing
with like fur.
Yeah,
I don't.
So is this like an OnlyFans?
So it's really weird.
I've seen this before. People have done this. They have them down in LA, and I've had friends who have went down there, like on Instagram, and I see them taking these pictures, and they're in these booths, they're in the selfie land, and they're in these different booths, and they're kind of cool, some of the pictures, but. Well, you could do it. You can even get fake backdrops now that look about the same.
Well, I just think what a weird world that we're so into like getting likes on our social media that you can make a business out of a place to take selfies.
So, listen, I don't mind. People can do, as far as creating businesses, I think it's great. Everybody should become an entrepreneur and create a business. And I'm not chiding them for that at all. But here we are. We're just talking about we're not going to get products. There's not going to be no gas is going through the roof. There's no water. They're going to charge it, and let's just all go be social media stars, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, here's the thing: if they can make a business out of it, all for them. I'm not upset with them. I'm upset with the people who require a place to take selfies. It just kind of upsets my my innermost. It triggers me. It does. It triggers.
Well, listen, I'm like I said, I'm glad that they're creating a business, and I have nothing like you just said, but. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, but I don't know if this kind of business could last, especially in Fresno. Do you think it's going to last, really?
No.
How much does this cost?
$25 a person. You get 1 hour to go take pictures.
I can go to the Tower District where they have really neat murals and all sorts of neat things and take pictures there.
Yeah.
Here's one of the walls.
Props.
It's a wall covered with Chinese takeout boxes. Here's one. God. You got pink fur. You got clouds and a swing.
Lights.
You got records, you got cards, you got candy,
donuts and candy, hearts, graffiti hearts, other hearts.
It's like little dioramas.
I give them 3 months.
Step into, yeah.
Then we can go in and probably scoop up.
Oh my gosh, was that real cash?
Cheap.
They had a room with cash. Can I go in there and just scoop up the cash and walk out with it?
I don't know. I just have an issue with this being a thing. I'm sorry. Not with the business, with the fact that our world needs.
This is the culture we live in. This is the culture we live in.
Oh God, I'm such an old.
Because if you're doing selfies out in the world, I'm a Morro Bay. Look,
right?
That's cool. You're someplace. And there, you're just basically in a closet taking pictures with some weird background.
It's literally just to fuel your own self.
Your narcissistic views,
yes, exactly.
Okay,
one more. Why don't they go take out pictures of like them feeding the homeless, or
Yeah, and then tell everybody, look at me, like I'm feeding the homeless. I'm doing it.
Yeah, that would at least be really doing something.
Yeah, right. I'm doing this for likes. I don't care about this guy, but hey.
So this is something really cool. I'm excited about this. This is a weekly. This happens every week on Friday. I didn't know about it. It's called the Clovis Country Western Dance.
No way.
It takes place at the Clovis Center.
Can I take selfies there?
Oh, I'm sure it's only $5 a person.
That's cheap.
Country Western dancing. You got couples and line dance, all ages welcome. It's $5 adult. Kids are free. 7:30 to 10 p.m.
Wow.
And if you come early, you get free line dance lessons.
Wow.
Cool.
That's actually really cool. I'm all about this.
It actually is very cool. Have you ever seen those people that take this like square dancing? This is line dancing, right?
Similar. I think it's similar.
But square dancing seriously, and they're all dressed up, and then they move in like this whole unison. It's very cool to watch.
Yeah, I'm actually about this. I think we should go and do a live broadcast outside of the dancing place.
We're not going to do it. We never go anywhere.
We're doing it.
We're going to go.
Next Friday, 7:30. All right, Eric and I will go.
Yeah.
We'll go. I think it would be awesome. We can meet outside.
Your hat and do-si-do.
Yeah, we can meet outside, talk to people.
To do it.
Yeah.
And then we'll go in and we'll do it.
They'll talk to
We don't have to dance with each other, do we?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Well, exclusively.
All right.
Hey, we have 1 minute,
You heard it
so
here.
this is really important.
Okay, let's go.
Twinkie Hostess has just released a new cryptocurrency.
Awesome.
Yes.
I just think it's a very unfortunate name.
What is it?
Based on Twinkies, it's called Twink Coin.
Twink coin.
Twink Coin. So I don't know if those of you, I don't.
Almost spilled my cup.
If you look up, this is just look up the word twink.
That's not
In
good
the Urban
marketing.
Dictionary.
Twink is quiz. This is from Google. This is not us. It says twink is gay slang for a man in his late teens to 20s whose traits may include a slim to average physique, a youthful appearance that may belay in older age, having little or no body hair. He's flamboyant and has other general physical attractiveness. So twink coin, I just feel like maybe they didn't think that through.
No, this marketing person should be immediately fired.
I thought it was interesting, right?
What other names could they come up with, Matt?
So that's what I was
Hostess,
like. Let's
right?
go to Hostess and see what
Yeah.
other products they have. So I know they have ding dongs.
Ding dong, ding
So I
dong
was thinking
coin.
you could have dong coin,
Ding dong coin.
Ho-hos?
ho. What would you call that?
Ho-hos.
Maybe
Ho coin.
ho coin.
Ho-ho
And then
coin.
they have these things called muffin sticks. Muffin sticks. What do you guys think you can call muffin sticks?
Muffin coin.
Maybe muff coin. So you got
Snowballs. Snowballs, you can call them ball coins.
ball coin. I just think they really didn't think this entire idea.
No, they
Twink
did not.
coin, ball coin.
They have anything they can make into coin.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's-
Twink was just one they just gave up.
I think we should immediately go out and buy these things. They're
Zinger,
gonna
Zinger
be.
coin. They have Zingers.
Oh, Zing
Zingers.
coin.
Zing
That would have
coin.
been good. Zing coin. That's
Zing
the
coin.
one. That's
Problem
not.
solved.
I think we should go out and buy these things. They're going to be collector's items.
Yeah.
In 50 years, and you're still going to be edible.
Now, my wife. Yeah, you're right. My wife actually had a good name. She said, "Why don't you just call it Dough?
Oh, nice.
Hostess Dough,
She's a genius.
right?" And
Oh
that's
my
their
gosh!
cryptocurrency.
Give
and I
her
was
the
like,
$1 million
that is brilliant.
for that marketing.
Hostess
right there.
Dough.
That's
I
amazing.
thought that was great. But instead they went with Twink Coin.
Maybe get that website Dogecoin.
Oh, you're right. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, just amazing. Everybody, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Want to say a big shout out to author Stephen Cochran. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, sir, for coming on.
Thank you.
Check out his book in the
Yes,
show notes. I have a
enjoyed your book.
direct link to the pre-order on Amazon.
Do it.
You can check out Cox and Media. I have a link there. There's also links to his Facebook and his Instagram.
And remember, he's going to be on Discord there.
Yes, join our Discord.
Do it.
You go to nofocusradio.com. At the bottom, there's a link that says join our Discord. Jump on. It's actually really cool. Marty and I, Stu and I, we were in there. We're talking to everybody. We're chatting.
I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
That's right. The doorman's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's really fun. We share images. We talk about future show ideas.
We pop each other's monkeypox.
That's right. And then if you become a member of the No Focus Club at nofocusradio.com, become a member, then you get access to our private Discords.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where we share our nudies. No, just kidding. That's where you can hear our show live, chat with us live
See
while we're
pictures of my
recording.
feet.
When we're about to record, we shoot a message out. Hey guys, we're going live. Chat with us so you can talk to us on the show.
Remember, 5 stars is always the correct number of stars.
That's right. Adios, everybody. Sayonara. Ciao. Bon voyage. All that stuff.